Hello everybody, this is Triggy J,
And this is RT-XD.
and today we're going to be playing King of the Hill Badlands, and we're going to be talking about the brand new scout weapons from the Pyromania update. As you can see, at the moment I am moving at a snail's pace. I am slower than a soldier, I think. I'm very slow. But, yep, these new weapons, that's the new Scattergun, Scattergun, the Babyface's blaster, and the Pretty Boy's pocket pistol. Which are both quite a mouthful to say. Like many of the weapons in this update, all seem to be very alliterative.
Mouthfuls.
Precisely. So,
I haven't actually unlocked these weapons, so I don't really know much about them. All I know is something makes you very, very fast and you start off very, very slow. Well, not very, very slow, but slow enough.
well, yeah, that's the basics of this gun I'm gonna talk about here. Basically, the scattergun. Oh, that was annoying. The scattergun. You start off insanely slow for a scout. You look ridiculous when you're running around with this thing, and yeah, you're slower than a soldier. But as you shoot people, your boost will slowly go up. Well, I say slowly. Actually, it takes a couple of good shots in order to get someone to fill their boost bar. And then when you are at full boost, you run at, you know, Mach 5, something like that. It's insane. You see, I shot that guy once for 61 damage, and my boost bar is already more than half full, and I'm running at least the speed of a normal scout. So, there's a spy over there.
But
Oh,
it can make you faster, am I correct?
Yeah, you can go, I think it's up to twice the speed of an ordinary scout. I'm now getting towards full boost, and as you can see, I'm already insanely fast. And now at full boost, I'm moving. This is crazy. I'm running all over the place. It's mad, bonkers. At first, I really liked this gun because it was new, different, and fun, and those are my primary things when what I want from a new Team Fortress 2 weapon. But
You want it to be different, exactly.
I very quickly cooled on it, and I'm gonna tell you why. During the first part of the game, where you're very slow and you haven't shot anyone yet, you're very vulnerable. And even a spy can backstab you, which usually is very difficult for a spy to backstab a scout. You have to sort of stand behind them and wait for them to run backwards in order to backstab them. But with this, you can get the job done quite easily. Also, you don't have the advantage that the normal scout has during a round, if you want your team to win, of being able to run straight towards center point and get some kills going. So there's that going on. And finally, if you don't want to lose your boost, you're not allowed to jump. Yeah.
It's an interesting one, actually. Scouts jump around a lot, and obviously, not being able to jump around, that's going to be quite a bad thing to do. Scout jumping is one of the things that actually makes scouts really, really good against other classes, because no one actually knows when they're actually gonna.
Quite a lot of the time, I lose track of a scout if he double jumps near me, because he could go,
Yeah.
he could be anywhere around me, and I didn't realize how much I used the double jump until it was gone. To be honest, and well, just jumping in general, I didn't realize how important it was to a scout until I couldn't do it. So yeah, there's that. So the weapon is fun to use. I mean, running around at Mach 10, whatever, insanely fun. But also that can kind of become a disadvantage because I'm not used to running around at Mach 10. I'm not used to lining people up and shooting them when I'm moving that fast. So I quite often find that it's a big problem for me because I miss doors like I just did right there, and I'm not adjusted to this speed.
Obviously, though, if you have a bit of practice with this kind of weapon, you're gonna get used to it. And what's more, it makes you really, really, really good. Because I mean, you're fast. I mean, double jumping makes you cool, and it makes you hard to keep track of. But going fast is gonna do just the same.
Yeah, it can be worked around. I'll be honest. You can work around not having your double jump, but the double jump, I miss it. I miss it, bro. Anyway, other things to say about this weapon are that it does have a couple more attributes on it, in that it is more accurate, so the pellets are closer together when you fire a shot, and those pellets do, I think, 30% less damage. I haven't really noticed this, because it kind of balances each other out, because you're more likely to get all the pellets on if you're shooting accurately, so you're going to do more damage, but yeah, you don't have this extra damage that you would have if you were shooting completely accurately up close, stuff like that. If you have a big heavy to target, you're not going to get that. So, it's an interesting weapon. It's fun, different, quite cool to use, but I've cooled on it very quickly. I got tired of it quite swiftly.
I think the big thing in this update in general was actually just trying to keep different from all the other weapons.
That's good.
So,
I really applaud
that. That's a good thing, but then again, you don't know whether change is going to be good or bad. So
yeah, I think the blaster is going to be a gun that I use, just not all the time. It's going to be default scattergun is still my best friend, and yeah, I don't really think that that's going to change. And while I love the fact that this is actually a scattergun instead of a sort of a two-shot thing like Scouts had with the last few guns, short stop as well. Yeah, that's it's quite an interesting weapon. Anyway, as this round draws to a close, I'm gonna segue into talking about the thing I'm holding right now, which is the Pretty Boy's pocket pistol. Brand new pistol for the Scout. I think the last pistol the Scout had was the Winger. And this also is pretty interesting. I think it gives you 15 or 25 plus 15 max health on wearer. And it also makes sure that you take no full damage, and that's clearly, to me, is meant to work with the blaster, in that usually if you thought you were going to take full damage as a Scout, you just hit the double jump button just before you hit the ground, and you'd be fine. But with this, where you can't jump, the pocket pistol has your back. Other things about the pistol is it fires slower, so you know, the shots are you're gonna be dealing less damage per second, as they put it. The 15 extra health is nice. I think maybe that could be a little higher, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, plus 15, right?
Yeah, 15.
Yeah, 15 isn't really, I mean, it's cool and all.
Scouts. It might save your life in a couple of situations, but I don't know, it just feels a little bit pathetic to me.
Yeah, it is a bit
kind of like saying, "Oh, we gotta give another good attribute for this gun, but we don't want to change it up too much."
Scouts already have low health, and giving them a lot more health is just gonna make them, to some extent, overpowered.
Well, yeah, I suppose I can understand it. Really, I think Valve are just being cautious with it. They don't want to put too much
I mean, worst
emphasis on it.
cases, they'll have to buff it eventually.
Yeah, it's not that big a deal. But as you can see, it's still good as a pistol, because I've managed to get a full boost bar just from using the pistol, which is pretty cool. So it still works good, works well as a pistol. Sorry, got to work on my grammar there. The one major thing that annoys me about the pistol is it gives you a 50% fire damage vulnerability, and that is absolutely enormous. It means you can't go anywhere near a pyro if that pyro is even half competent. You just don't touch that pyro, you go nowhere near him. It's like having the candy cane on, except for fire.
Yeah, I mean, pyros are already a big thing for Scouts.
Well, not really, because the way I figure it is quite often you can just use your speed to stay out of a pyro's range, and that's quite. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, that's true. But what I mean by that is I mean the pyro's already, like, the moment you walk into a pyro, even accidentally, that might even cost you your life, because pyros are pretty deadly.
And the Scout has low health. But
exactly.
Usually you're fast enough to find a health kit, and get away, as I figure, but I can see where you're coming from, definitely.
I mean, especially if you're using these two weapons together, actually, it's going to make you even more vulnerable to pyros, since you are going to start moving up
Start off
slow.
quite slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see exactly where you're coming from, but the 50% fire damage vulnerability, it can be worked around, because obviously if you're using this with the blaster, you're going to be moving around like crazy, and you can easily stay out of the way of a pyro. But then again, you are vulnerable, extremely so, for a little while. You might not want to. You might want to just be careful around pyros. It doesn't break the pocket pistol. It doesn't make it the worst weapon you could possibly use. No way. That's definitely not what I'm saying. But what it does do is it makes your life difficult, and I can approve of that. It's a good part of the weapon that they kept that in there to keep it balanced. And it's more interesting than some of the effects they could have given it. But yeah, overall, this setup, very interesting, very fun to use. And why isn't the Spy dying? There we go. Very interesting and fun to use. I would recommend giving it a try, having some serious fun with it.
Give all of them a try.
Give all of them a try. I think this is our last video to talk about the new weapons, and I think we've been through all of them. So overall, this update has provided us with some really interesting new weapons, really fun things, new toys to play with, and that's always fantastic. And I can tell Valve have tried really hard to think of good things, good effects, interesting things for us to try. I really applaud them for that.
Yep, no, thank you Valve for creating such a good game and such a good update.
Lag. Yes, thank you Valve, and thank you for paying attention to it. What is it, 5 years after it's released, and they're still releasing huge updates like this. That's absolutely fantastic, and we've had a whole lot of fun with it. Anyway, I think I think I've run out of things to talk about with the new scout weapons, so I think the last thing that we need to do with the Pyromania update is the new game mode. Doomsday is the new map. What's the game mode called again? Special Delivery, that's it.
Special Delivery is the one.
So that's what's going to be coming up in our next video.
We'll make that very, very soon. You're going to see that very soon.
Indeed. Just clearing up this round, it would appear. The last part of the round.
I have to say, at the beginning of this, I actually was very happy. I got 3 kills with the frying pan in a row. That made me feel happy.
That's cool. That's really cool.
I just had to say that somewhere.
I really wish I hadn't got away. I really wish I hadn't done whatever I did with my frying pan. I love the frying pan. I wish I was using it, but I can't.
One day.
One day. So, come to the end of the round. That's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave comments and likes if you enjoyed it, and we'd love give us some feedback. Yeah, give us some feedback, and tell us what you think about the new weapons. And I hope to see you next time. This is Triggy J out.
This is RT-XD signing out.